Rachel Maddow violated the taboo yesterday. Again. This one, that no one confront the opponents of health care reform about their political philosophy or even articulate what it really is. In our fourth story in the countdown, she did it on broadcast TV during her first appearance on Meet the Press. She did it to Dick Armey, former House Majority Leader, currently Laos Minority Leader, running the group Freedom Works, which has helped stir up the ugly displays at town halls around the country, designed to kill health care reform. But wait, there's more. Armey, having just stepped down from his law firm after its pharmaceutical clients complained about the heat he was drawing, heat from critics like Rachel. Yesterday, she exposed just how far from the mainstream the opponents of reform really are.
Do you really think that there's a major uprising of seniors wanting to get out of Medicare? I know you're suing the government for your right personally to get out of Medicare, but do you really think that's the problem, that Medicare, that seniors hate Medicare and they want out?
No, I didn't say that. Most seniors, I was talking to my minister the other day. My minister says, Dick, I'm so fortunate I'm in Medicare. I said, bless you, my friend, that you get to be in it if you choose to be so. But if you give a government program and you let me choose to be in or choose to be out, that's generosity. If you force me in, irrespective of my desires, that's tyranny. Now, if Medicare is $46 trillion in the red, with no idea how we're going to pay for it, why do they not let people who don't want to be in out?
This is a really important point. The anti-healthcare reform lobby thinks that Medicare is tyranny. Okay? I mean, you said in 1995 that Medicare is a program I would have no part of in a free world.
Absolutely.
You said in 2002 we're going to have to bite the bullet on Social Security and phase it out.
And I'm going to enumerate exactly what I'm talking about.
Americans need to know this is your position.
I'm going to stop this.
The Medicare law that was written.
It's very important to understand.
The anti-reform lobby, anti-Medicare, anti-Social Security. Of course, direct confrontation is not the only means for exposing the right's radical agenda. There is also time travel. In 1961, the part of Dick Armey was played by actor Ronald Regan, whose Jeremiad against socialized medicine, I think they called it a special comment, was unearthed by the right last week to attack Obama's reform. And yet, as Media Matters and others report, the socialized medicine that Reagan was attacking then was also Medicare, which passed over Reagan's objections and became one of the government's most popular functions, more popular than private insurance, despite the dire warnings which have failed to materialize in the 48 years since Reagan, like Armey, warned what the tyranny of Medicare would entail.
First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients. They're equally divided among the various doctors by the government. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town, and the government has to say to him, you can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else. And from here, it's only a short step to dictating where he will go. One of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Holy Sacagawea, Batman. Freedom died in 1961? With us tonight, Arianna Huffington, founder and editor-in-chief of HuffingtonPost.com. Thanks for your time tonight, Arianna.
Thank you, Keith.
All right, let me ask you Mr. Reagan's question from the black and white videotape and records days. Do you remember what it was once like in America when men were free before Medicare?
Well, actually, I don't have to have such a good memory, because all we have to do is look at what's happening in America now to people under 65 who don't have health insurance, or who even have health insurance but can't pay the deductibles. And we saw what happened last week, Keith, right here outside Los Angeles in Inglewood, when people had to line up overnight to receive the kind of care that is normally provided by doctors and nurses in third world countries. And they lined up and waited for 8 days, and by the end of these 8 days there still weren't enough doctors and nurses to see them. That was what it was like when men were free.
Connect the dots between that Mr. Reagan of 1961 and the Medicare tyranny of Mr. Armey of 2009, if you'd be so kind.
Well, there are two parts to the connective tissue. The first part is the fear-mongering. The fear-mongering that didn't work then, to try and paint the arrival of Medicare as immediately leading to some totalitarian state. And right now we are seeing any kind of effort to bring about any form of universal health care as supposedly leading to socialized medicine. And the second part of the connective tissue is really the underlying fear philosophy behind what Reagan and Army are saying. And that's not so much a philosophy, actually, it's a theology, because it's impervious to any kind of facts or evidence, and it was given perfect expression in Ronald Reagan's first inaugural address in 1981, when he said, government is not the solution to our problems, government is the problem. They're convinced that anything government does, from Medicare and Social Security onwards, is a problem.
Bring this back to healthcare reform and today. What is the lesson that we can apply from that Reagan 61, Army 09 view of Medicare to the overall picture of reforming healthcare now?
Well, the lesson actually is what you and Lawrence were talking about a little while ago, and this is that Democrats need to stop appeasing Republicans, believing that somehow they're going to be able to give up enough to bring them along. You know, Senator Coburn yesterday on Meet the Press again made it very clear when Gregory asked him, so if the public option was not there, would you and your friends sign up? And he said, well, you know, there are also the 87 government programs that are there that include 150 federal employees. So here we are, you know, Keith, there isn't enough that anybody can give up. You can give up the public option, you can give up 50 of those government programs, and they're still not going to be happy. And then here's what's going to happen. Something is going to pass. It's not going to be real reform. It's going to be reform in name only. It's not going to work. And then they're going to turn around and blame it on government, because there will have been some government in it.
All right, close this off for me. Before the conversation got turned elsewhere yesterday, Rachel was saying it was very important for Americans to understand that the anti-reform lobby also opposes Medicare and Social Security. Finish her thought, if you would, and explain why.
Well, it is very important to understand, because then you understand that they are truly the lunatic fringe. They are the people who oppose anything because their philosophy is that we need to make government so small that, as Grover Norquist said, you can drown it in a bathtub. That's really what we're dealing with. And it doesn't matter how much we give up. Ultimately, if government is involved in any way at all, which it will have to be, they will be opposing it, or they will drown it so much that they can then oppose it as another failure of government.
Everything since 1929 has been an encroachment. Mariana Huffington of the Huffington Post, as always, great thanks.
Thank you.